Hello friends of the electrified charging farm and welcome to Speicher elektrisiert electrified Speicher. My name is Matthias and today I present you a complete new video format called Community Watch Community News. I want to address all the topics and issues that are circulating in the ENYAQ community, whether it is via email that you send to me, whether it is in forums or on social media in a whole. Most of these topics are too short to do a video on its own for it, but still concern a lot of you, of my viewers. Therefore, they are all packed into this video. The chapters are independent, so they do not build on each other. You may jump to the chapter you are interested in, despite the fact that the video may be rather long, and watch only what is of interest for you. And of course, as requested from a lot of people after my last video, here I am again. This is not an AI video, this is me speaking personally to you, because you told me that you love my quirky accent and my emotions and how I speak. So I am back here, and now let's get started. Topic number 1. Problems with headlight leveling. There seems to be a known issue with the leveling of the headlight, but only for models without matrix LED, as matrix LED does the leveling itself automatically. There has been a TPI, a technical product information, out there for over a year, but it doesn't seem to do the real deal. It does not seem to affect the problem in the right way. If you want to know whether you are affected or not, just go to the menu of your vehicle, exterior, headlights and headlight leveling, and check whether the light cones are moving or not when you slide the slider from left to right. If the light cone does not move, it is defect, you have a problem. This has been reported by countless viewers. It is discussed all over the online forums and even on the Skoda EV launch. And replacing the control unit of the headlight does not appear to be effective here, as the fault then reoccurred for a number of my viewers. It's getting even worse if you are out of guarantee and you would have to pay for exchanging that control unit, because then you are way up to 500 to 700 euros, and it does not help you with the problem. I have a case here where the control unit in an ENYAQ was replaced 4 times, and yet the problem with the leveling still exists or is back again. And that ENYAQ was built in June 23, so it is only 1.5 years old. It is way more certain that there is a software problem here. The assumption is supported by an answer from Skoda on their EV launch that they are working on a solution for every ENYAQ. How do you work on the solution if you are already having a TPI out there which has a solution of changing the control unit? Doesn't make sense, right? So I think we've got a software problem here. Unfortunately, this solution has not reached any customers as of now. And I think it would be desirable to update the dealers and all the workshop that the replacement of the control unit does not do the job, and instead that there is work going on for a solution. I for myself find that problem rather critical, as a defective headlamp leveling is a system which is safety relevant from my point of view. If you have a lot of load in the boot or if you have a trailer hitched up, well, you should level your headlights, especially now in the dark season where you use it rather often. And for me, it seemed that this is already a standard problem, not an occasionally one, and therefore Skoda should really put pressure on fixing this. Topic number 2. Problems with the charging port, or better the charging lid of the ENYAQ. Some of my viewers reported that they cannot open the charging flap anymore. We need to divide that problem into 2 parts, and one is a mechanical defect of the pin that pops out the charging lid, which most often comes with the first generation of ENYAQs, so software version 3 ENYAQs, and another one is a software bug which I already shown on my channel, which is with software version 4 and got fixed with software version 5. Let's talk about the second one first. This bug prevents the charging flap from open up when the vehicle was at rest. There's an easy fix for that. Just lock the ENYAQ again and open it up again, and then the charging flap should also open up. And we simply have to wait when this gets fixed with software version 5, but we have no information whether we get it or when we get that software version for the software version 4 ENYAQs. The other one is more severe. This is a mechanical defect. I have a picture here from a viewer where this pin is completely rusted due to water which got in. This is not the only issue. Sometimes the pin is broken without any water or rust, but the flap itself here is defective. Of course, you have to charge in rain, whether it is DC charging for half an hour or AC charging for a couple of hours. And some of the mechanic like this needs to accommodate for that and needs to work in this. And I do not accept the argument that there is a cover available at the accessory store from Skoda for AC charging, which you can put on the charging port, because this lid is not this cover is not working for DC fast charging. And if that is really needed to protect the mechanism from getting rusted in rain, then it should be a mandatory accessory which comes with your ENYAQ and not an optional accessory to be bought in the store. Since charging and the opening of the charging flap is a key essential to every electric car, Skoda should really fix this. Topic number 3, charging to 100% bug. In the software version 3.7, software versions 4 and software version 5, so every current available or installed software in the ENYAQ has a bug where it occasionally happened that the ENYAQ sets the charging limit to 100% on its own, even if you have set it lower, like 80%. I experienced that problem myself. I'm pretty sure I already showed it in one of my videos, and I don't find any pattern when this happens. Sometimes it happens during driving, sometimes it happens on a parking lot, sometimes overnight. And basically I recognize it because I get a message and the message icon, and it tells me battery care will kick in after the next charging and reduce the charging limit to 80%. And now I'm going, what? I never set it to 100%. Does that occur for you too? Write me please in the comments about your experience with that, because I don't have so many emails or information from viewers that this is happening. But if you are experiencing that on your own, write me in the comments. Because to be honest, if you watched my last video on how to gently charge your ENYAQ, you have learned that you should go to 100% only if needed. But now the car does it on its own. This is ridiculous. It is really annoying to have a car doing this if you do not want that. Dear Skoda, get that bug fixed, because it's an annoying bug. We don't have any control about this, and then bring that update soon. Topic number 4, the next winter without preheating with software version 3. Winter is coming as every year, and then the email started to hit me with the question, what can I do to get a better fast charging experience, or sometimes just emails with a lot of complaints. And basically, therefore, I had to put that topic again in this community watch. And unfortunately, there is still no information going on preheating, whether it will come, when it will come. So basically, what can you do? Well, the best thing you can do is option number 1, go with a cold battery to the first fast charger, charge a bit until the battery got heated up, then travel to the next fast charger and you get a much better experience. Not a good solution. And the second one, which I recommend if someone asks me, called yo-yo driving. So 10 to 15 minutes before hitting a fast charger, you start to brake and accelerate quite harsh again. So you put a lot of power on the battery and therefore the battery got heated up. Please watch for the safety on the road when doing this. This is also not a perfect solution, but it is something you can work with to heat the battery up. When I think about that, I personally addressed the issue of preheating on my channel back on the 17th February 2022 in my infamous BLOED video, which is a German acronym I won't translate here now. And at that time, I really had no idea that that video would age so well and would still be relevant even in November 2024. And to be honest, this is a really bad thing. Topic number 5. In addition to my latest video, Gently Charge Your ENYAQ. Some viewers have rightly commented that the tips in the video are really great for the battery, but rather bad for the battery management system, BMS. And indeed, they were right. When I was editing the video, I removed a chapter where I addressed this topic because it's not that much important. And from the statistics I have, I know videos about 20 minutes are fine, but going over 20 minutes are rarely watched. So I try to keep them short, which is a hard thing to do. The chapter I removed was on cell balancing and BMS calibration. Occasionally charging your ENYAQ's battery up to 100% from a real low state of charge, so ideally at 0 or let's say 3 or 5%, has benefits for the battery management system. This is not for everyday use, but for the battery management system calibration and for the cell balancing, you can do this occasionally. Both processes support the battery management system in better assessing the condition of the battery, the capacity of the battery, and thus the range estimation. Over numerous charging processes at medium charge ranges, as I recommend in my charging video, which you still should do if you want to keep your battery a really long time alive, well, the battery management system can no longer really read the battery and the capacity and the state of charge of the battery, simply because it does not have information over the whole capacity of the battery. A full charge to 100% from a low state of charge actually allows the BMS to calibrate itself and better know the capacity and thus better calculate the range. Another advantage of charging up to 100% is the passive cell balancing. The ENYAQ only has passive cell balancing, not active cell balancing, and that will only start above 90% and guaranteed start at 100%. I don't know when the ENYAQ will start, but it's certain at 100%. It does not start immediately, so you have to leave the ENYAQ alone for 1, 2 or 3 hours at 100% state of charge. 1 hour should be sufficient, but maybe you need more. Inside the battery pack, the battery consists of a lot of individual cells. Depending on the battery, you have over 200. And they should approximately all maintain the same state of charge, so the same cell voltage. However, over time and through normal charging and discharging, some cells can deviate slightly from being exactly in sync and get out of sync. And to bring them back into sync, you do the passive cell balancing. The ENYAQ does it on its own, and then those small differences get equalized, and that is perfectly fine for your battery. Now, such a full charge is only rarely necessary. About once or twice a year is enough. Basically every 30 to 40 full cycles of charging and discharging. And please keep in mind, even though you have to let rest the ENYAQ at 100% for some hours, after that time you should immediately drive the car again to get below 100%. Topic number 6. A short review of my visit to Mlada Boleslav at Skoda in September 2024. As you might know, I recently visited Skoda for the EV Meetup event and for my presentation on the VHC, which is the German-English word for Vorstandsausschuss Customer or Board Committee Customer, where I give them a presentation. You'll find that presentation here on the channel. I did it again at my home office just for you to watch what I showed them. And basically there are a lot of topics in it which needs to be addressed, but to be honest, I haven't received any further information or any real feedback on my presentation since then, be it about possible improvements or measures regarding communication. So there is still a lot of silence in the forest. Putting that simple, I would say do it like I do. Don't get your hopes up that we really made a difference here, that we really achieved something here. Yes, they did some slight improvements on communication in updating the release notes of the software version 3, still nothing for 4 or 5, but there's not a lot of going on. And if they are still have no ideas and no clues how to reach out to the community, how to provide a platform despite Facebook, which is not the right place to be today, to have a platform for all the customers of an ENYAQ or an Elrock in the future, well, I would have something to contribute. They could simply come to the guy who has built up that community and ask him how we'll find all together and work together. So here again, my invitation to you, Skoda. Just ask and let's discuss. Topic number 7. A talk with Elli and the future of the Skoda Powerpass. The Powerpass is another controversial topic discussed in the ENYAQ community, and I receive rather a lot of emails telling me that the Powerpass is way too expensive and that a lot of you got fooled into that tariff by their dealership, not knowing what else is out there because they are first-time EV customers and now are angry about paying way too much until they find other solutions. And here we are. What is the future of the Powerpass and the future of so-called EMSP, so Electro Mobility Service Provider, which Elli is, in difference to a CPO, which is a charging point operator which runs the charger itself. I had a conversation with Elli over a fortnight ago, and which seems to have come to nothing. After that short call, I haven't heard anything, but we agreed that after the call we would tackle and discuss 3 points. Firstly, Elli was to show me what benefits and services they felt the Powerpass offered. So such a simple task, they tell me what their unique selling proposition is. I received nothing. Secondly, they should answer questions I had provided in a PDF after our call, which comes from you. A lot of open questions, yet no answers given. And thirdly, we wanted to talk in another call about the customer needs and the future of the Powerpass and the charging tariff. Well, that of course didn't happen as well. And since nothing comes from Elli back yet, well, to be honest, I will soon make a video on the topic of charging tariffs, the current situation and future business models, as I did with software. Maybe you remember that video. If not, you'll find it here on the channel. Just watch it. It might be very interesting for you. I did not want to go deeper into that topic in this video here because I do a separate one on this, but you want my emotions, you want the Matthias Speicher on that channel, well, you should get him here. Let's discuss it a bit. Well, simply copying the platform business model of something like Booking.com, which most MSPs does, but then not asking the providers to pay, e.g. the hotels, but the customers with surcharges on the price, of course this will fail. This is not how this business model is done. It is clear that CPOs like hotels will bring their own offers to get all the customers to them. And guess what happens? Well, that's exactly why we have so many cards, apps and providers. Because we as customers don't allow ourselves to be ripped off as customers. What are 800 charging points from 900 providers worth if the one you need is too expensive when you're there? That's no added value here. Especially not in a world, from my point of view, where we will hopefully soon be paid by credit card everywhere on every charger a fair market price. Because that's how markets work. And the current U-Scale study I received clearly shows this. They did a study on charging providers and all the car manufacturers' charging providers, so the OEM providers, not Tesla. Tesla does a really good job on their charging platform. Well, all those really had a hard time from 23 to 24, and in terms of usage, they are no longer important. Yes, the market does its job, and though they failed, and the graphics I'm showing you says it all. Where are the innovative services, such as find the cheapest route even if I have to travel 30 minutes longer? Or find the fastest route with a maximum of X cents per kilowatt hour? Or something like your chosen charging park is heavily utilized. Please drive 2 kilometers further to another one where you get 20% off your charging. Well, I digress here, more on that in a separate video. Topic number 8. Useful apps when it comes to charging. As stated in topic number 7, currently we still have to use a lot of apps for charging, route planning and the whole charging experience, even if it's very desirable that this will change in the future. And one of those apps I already had on the channel about 2 years ago with the app enyaq. And I personally like the concept of that app, because who hasn't experienced charging points not operating, not working, or in poor condition, or something is wrong there? And how often do we really report that to the charging point operator? What incentives do we have to do so? More often we simply drive to the next one and leave the charger which is not in a perfect condition as it is. I therefore like the concept of the enyaq app, which basically compensate you when you are reporting on a charger and its condition. You get some kilometers in that app, which you can use to pay for charging provider energy, like for the Powerpass or several other ones. and you simply get something for reporting the issues. Of course, they monetize the data you send them, but it's at least better than getting nothing at all. And therefore, I would be interested, do you already know the app and charge? Are you using it? What are your experiences with this app? Because after 2 years now, I have revisited the app and I'll find a lot of changes they've done which are really great. I will do a video about that because personally I really like that concept, and I would love to see some comments about that app if you know it. And if you do not know the app already, you will find a link in the description to download it and to test it out. And I would really love to hear from you about that app. Bonus topic. What is a community without meeting in real life? So did the German enyaq-forum.de community. It was a real nice highlight at the end of September when several Enyaq drivers met near Erfurt in Germany to see each other in real life and to talk about the Enyaq. I was part of it, and about 20 Enyaqs were there. It was a quite impressive image when we did the photo shooting of all participants of that event. Of course, there was a lot of program and things to do all around this meeting, like a driver's challenge where you have several challenges to meet, like estimating the range from an object, or did you ever try to drive with a glass full of water attached to your mirror over several pieces of wood, not spoiling any, or estimating the temperature rise of your brake pads when you drive so that it is 15 degrees warmer when you come back? If not, such challenges and such a meetup might be for you. Of course, I know it's hard to come to a German-spoken meeting, but maybe within your community in your country there are meetings as well, so think about to participate in it. And it's nice to come together and simply talk, have a good dinner and a really good time. So if you are interested in stuff like that, or maybe you do something like this in your country, well, just leave me a note. Maybe I will travel and do a video about it.
Breaking news! Skoda now also offers over-the-air updates in the workshop. What sounds like a real-life comedy and has what it takes to be the joke of the week is unfortunately sad reality. While I'm already working on editing this video on Monday evening, I'm receiving more and more messages and emails that Skoda is now offering its customers over-the-air updates to be installed at the workshop if they have a service appointment or a visit coming up. And that for a fee. No, it's not free of charge. Don't get me wrong. The update itself is of course free of charge, but the service of installing it isn't. Excuse me? The service of installing? Do they really mean to bill those 2 seconds of hitting the OK button by a service employee to start the automatic over-the-air update, which you can do at home? Fortunately, the workshop is not allowed to do this without your consent, and I would recommend you not giving that consent at all. Because for me, this service fee for installing an over-the-air update plays in the same league as wiper fluid that costs the same as champagne when you go to a workshop, and a wonder suddenly in a 6-liter wiper fluid container, which is not empty at all when you go to the service, there fit 10 liters in it. For me, this is a flimsy way for dealers to make a little more money on servicing, as there is no much more to be gained here when it comes to electric cars like the Enyaq. It is almost a mockery to launch such an offer now that the first real over-the-air update for some old Enyaqs going up to software version 3.7 is there, whilst the vast majority of all Enyaqs never has seen an over-the-air update. It's simply not the right time to make an offer right now like this. On the other hand, I have to admit there are also people who drive an Enyaq who may not install updates, whether out of ignorance or uncertainty, so they are not sure if they should do it, and therefore this might be a useful service here. My personal opinion? Honestly, Skoda, I don't know who thought that this was a clever idea, but just don't do it. And certainly don't play with the uncertainty of your customers out there and bringing them to pay money for such an over-the-air update to be installed at the dealership. Instead, Make the update process and the updates so secure and simple that anyone can easily install them themselves and encourage your customers to do so. Alternatively, offer this trivial service in the workshop free of charge. Anything else is not customer-centric.
Topic number 9 and the last topic for today's Community Watch on my own behalf. This chapter will be at the end of every Community Watch where I give you a little insight in what's going on here on my behalf. The response time to emails is currently around 2 to 3 weeks, as there is a very high volume at the moment, and so please be patient until you receive a reply, as many emails require a comprehensive and time-consuming response. This is not a single line, nor can I use some pre-made texts, so it simply takes a lot of time and effort to do so. Also, please remember, I am offering this service with answering your emails free of charge, and I am not working on behalf of Skoda, and I'm therefore also not paid by Skoda. Finally, a personal message. I have decided to concentrate in the next month fully on this channel and on the content. That's why I quit my job at the Swiss bank here at the end of September. And so far, the income from the channel and its advertising is nowhere near enough to make a living, especially not in Switzerland. So I'm currently working on a business model centered around e-mobility and my channel. And this means I also dig into topics on product placement, sponsorships and something else, but with a good measure that it fits the channel, that it fits the content, and that it is not too much. But in the end, I need a working business model, because if I do not find one, well, I have to look for another job, ideally in the e-mobility sector, but that will mean less time for the channel, and by chance if you've got an employer who do not want you to do such a channel, I have to stop the channel. And I do not want to do this, of course, but let's see what the future might bring. And depending on who is watching, you can also find me and my complete work history on LinkedIn. And if you want my CV, simply ask, send a mail, reach out. And yes, me and my family are willing to move in case of a real good job offer. And yeah, let's see where we can go together. That's it for the first Community Watch community news video. It's a rather long video. I bet the next ones will be shorter. I hope you find some information helpful, and I hope that you like the new format. Let me know down in the comments if you've got another topic I should cover, or write me an email, or simply point me towards a post on social media I should dig myself into. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and consider to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out any new news in the future. Also, you find a PayPal link down in the description if you want to support me with a donation. And then I hope we see each other in the next video, and until then, stay full of energy.